So, good afternoon and welcome to Athens. As a special bonus, you get to see my legs. Not right now, but maybe later. So this is, I'm pretty sure, the first event of its kind ever to have taken place anywhere in the world. We have a combination of people from the industry, from NGOs, and from tech companies, all of whom have an interest in what I am certain is going to be an incredibly important part of the evolving internet scene over the next few years, because everybody that I know is convinced that age verification and also collecting verifiable parental consent are going to be key bits of the architecture of how a great many sites and services work in future, particularly, although not necessarily exclusively, if those sites or apps or services seek to, or in fact, attract children. It's been a long journey for me. I don't just mean coming from London, but I first got involved in this whole question of age verification for children back in 2001, 2002. The British banks, by the way, for those of you who don't know, amongst other things, I'm secretary of the British Children's Charities Coalition on Internet Safety, and I'm also technical advisor to a global NGO called ECPAT International based in Bangkok. But back in 2001, 2002, the British banks started giving debit cards to kids aged 11 or above. My own kids got them. And by the way, that was routine and standard. You didn't, if you opened a bank account for your kid aged 11, they automatically got these debit cards. Within a relatively short period of time, we, the children's organizations that is, were beginning to hear about children, typically boys aged 14 or 15, being diagnosed as gambling addicts. They were going to online gambling websites, ticking a box to say they were 18, and using their debit card, they were blowing their pocket money on a horse or a football match or something of that kind. And just to be clear, gambling addict, what that meant was that they were then also stealing things, just like drug addicts. They were stealing things from their parents, from their friends, stealing cash or items that they couldn't convert into cash, putting it into their bank accounts so that they could then go and blow more money on a horse race or a football match or whatever. I went to see all of the big gambling companies, very respectable, quoted on the London Stock Exchange, and they all said, this is a very serious problem, we're aware of it. But the truth was they did nothing until we changed the law in the 2005 Gambling Act, which made it a condition of operating a gambling website in the United Kingdom. You had to have a robust age verification system, otherwise you couldn't get a license to run a gambling website. And since then, we are not aware of a single case where a child was able to do what they used to do, which was simply tick a box to say, yes, I'm over 18, and then blow their money on illegal gambling. So things have moved on quite a lot since then, and we're going to hear more about that as this event proceeds. We've got over 200 people logging on, so taking part in this conference virtually, and then you're the lucky ones who get to see my legs. You're the ones actually in the room here. I think we've got about 40 people in the room or thereabouts. So it's really showing the level of interest that there is in this topic. I had nothing to do with the organization, you'll be happy to know, which is why I think everything will work smoothly. It is a bit like a Hollywood production. We've got people controlling the cameras over there and the cut-ins. My only job is to sort of give them a sign, really, when to move on to the next bit.